They said I sounded like a joke, that I should lip sync if I ever wanted to be taken seriously. They laughed before I even opened my mouth. They didn't just mock my voice. They muted my worth. I stopped humming in public. I'd whisper to myself in the shower, only when the fan was on. And every time I spoke, I could hear their giggles in my head. But you know what they didn't hear? The moment I broke. The day I decided to stop hiding. Because one day, I stood in front of millions. And sang anyway. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 27 years old, and I live in Austin, Texas. I grew up in a house where success had a very specific sound. It wasn't music. It was degrees being printed. It was job offers on speakerphone. It was my older brother Jake getting into Stanford and my sister Madison making partner at a law firm before 30. Me? I was the artsy one, the dreamer. The one who hummed at breakfast and turned cereal spoons into microphones. My mom, Sandra, used to say, "She's just creative. Let her play a little longer." But when I turned 16 and told them I wanted to be a singer, the air in the kitchen shifted. My dad, Greg, didn't even look up from his newspaper. Jake chuckled. And Madison said, "Well, you better look like Beyoncé and sing like Adele if you want to eat." I remember the first time I sang publicly. It was sophomore year, the school talent show. I had Chosen at Last by Etta James. Old soul, big emotion. What I didn't know was that Brittany Keller, the popular girl, had sneakily recorded my rehearsal in the gym storage room. The acoustics were bad. My voice cracked halfway through. And by lunchtime the next day, it was everywhere. They didn't just laugh. They roared. "What was that, goat karaoke? Girl, your vocal cords need therapy." Emily, stick to humming. Quietly. Even the choir director, Mr. Davis, pulled me aside and said, "Maybe choose a quieter path, Emily. Not all voices are meant to be heard loud." That line haunted me. Not all voices are meant to be heard loud. So I stopped. Stopped auditioning. Stopped singing. Stopped believing that sound could come from me without shame. At family gatherings, my mom would avoid the subject altogether. When her friend asked, "How's Emily? Still doing that singing thing?" she smiled tight and said, "She's just taking a break." I wasn't taking a break. I was hiding. From my own voice. From their disappointment. From the echo of that gymnasium playback. And even when I tried to start again singing in my room, recording little clips, I'd freeze. Delete. Close the app. Because in my head, Brittany Keller's laughter was louder than anything I could sing. By the time I turned 22, my siblings had moved into apartments with crown molding and stock options. And me? I was working the cash register at a craft store, folding pastel paper and pretending not to dream. I tried to pivot community college, marketing classes, even dental assistant school. But every time I looked in the mirror, I saw a girl mouthing the words to a life that didn't fit her. They didn't see that. To them, I was drifting. A wasted talent they stopped mentioning. And eventually, I stopped talking about myself too. Until one day, I picked up a dusty keyboard at a garage sale. I brought it home, plugged it in, and sang 3 notes. No one clapped. No one even heard. But something in me flickered. Something I thought was dead. I started over. But no one noticed. The keyboard was missing 2 keys and smelled like old garage fumes. But when I pressed down on that first working C note, it buzzed back at me like an old friend who hadn't heard from me in years. I didn't plan to sing again. Not really. I just wanted to feel something. At first, I played with the volume so low, even the walls couldn't hear. I'd hum along while reheating soup, or whisper lyrics under my breath while folding laundry. The keyboard became like a confession booth, where I let out things I hadn't said in years. Then one night, I found this strange little corner of TikTok. A vocal coach named Nina Santiago was doing a series called Send Me Your Raw Voice. No filters. Just you. I hovered over the record button. Tried once. Deleted it. Tried again. Deleted that too. On the 3rd try, I didn't even listen back. I just hit send and closed the app. 2 days passed. Nothing. Then one morning, I woke up to 37 new notifications. Nina had reposted my clip with the caption,
This is what honesty sounds like.
Goosebumps. She didn't tag me, didn't know who I was. But the comments poured in. Who is this? I felt that in my bones. Why does this voice sound like it's been through a storm and still chose to sing? And then a message from Nina herself.
Please tell me that was you.
DM me. Let's talk. I stared at the screen. Not with excitement. With fear. Was this real? Was I ready? Did I even deserve this? I took a breath.
Typed back. Hi.
Yeah, that was me. I'm Emily. We had our first Zoom call later that week. She had this calm energy, like someone who knew pain but didn't flinch from it. She said, "Your voice isn't perfect, and that's what makes it magic. Let's train, not to fix it, but to help it speak louder." We met twice a week over Zoom. I recorded scales in my closet, sang exercises into socks to dampen the sound. And slowly, I found a rhythm, not just musically but inside myself. To pay for lessons, I took a part-time job at Willow Creek Senior Living teaching basic tech skills to residents. It was quiet, simple work, but somehow it healed me. One woman, Mrs. Elvira James, couldn't figure out FaceTime. She missed her granddaughter's birthday 3 times. "This machine hates me," she muttered one morning, slamming the tablet down. I walked her through the steps. She shook, hands trembling, but we got it to work. And when her granddaughter's face finally lit up the screen, Elvira began to cry. She whispered, "You brought my baby into my living room." That night, I went home and wrote a song called Digital Ghosts. It wasn't about her, not exactly, but it held the same ache, the same hope. It didn't make headlines, but it mattered. The first song I ever fully released was called Still Loud in Silence. I uploaded it at 2:13 a.m. from the corner of my bed, wrapped in a blanket, convinced maybe 5 people would listen. By the end of the week, it had over 8,400 plays. By the end of the month, 34,000. A producer named Tony Blake from Atlanta emailed me. "Your voice is raw.
Rare.
Let's talk production." I thought it was a scam at first, but then he sent stems. Real ones. Professional beats, studio-grade backing tracks. I started recording in a makeshift booth I built inside my closet using pillows, foam, and the mattress topper from my freshman dorm. Every penny from Willow Creek went to better gear, better sound. And then it snowballed. Spotify picked me up on their Fresh Finds playlist. Then came a sync deal, one of my songs used in the background of a documentary on mental health. A tiny line in the credits. Vocals by Emily Carter. It wasn't fame, but it was proof. My streams crossed 130,000. An indie label reached out. My EP, Second Voice, dropped that October. People started tagging me in videos, singing my lyrics back. Covers. Fan art. One girl in Missouri even tattooed a line from my song, the last note I held. They broke my silence, but not my sound. I wanted to cry, but I also wanted to call my mom, to tell her, show her, ask, "Did you hear me?"
So I did.
I sent her a text with the link to my Tiny Desk audition clip. No response. The next day, a generic heart emoji. That weekend during dinner, my dad looked up from his chicken and said, "Your brother's company just hit Series A. Big round of funding." I smiled. Took another bite.
No one asked about me.
Aunt Claire brought up the EP. I saw her name on Spotify. "That's big, right?" My mom responded, "Oh, that? It's just a hobby." She's always had a little flair. A hobby. They couldn't see the hours of late-night mixing, the thousands of messages, the pain poured into Pro Tools, the fans who said my voice kept them going. To them, I was still the girl who cracked at the school talent show. The joke. The almost. Even when I was invited to perform at Austin's local Voices Festival, my mom just said, "Oh, you're still doing that? I thought maybe you'd go back to school soon." But I kept going. Quietly. Fiercely. I co-wrote a track for another indie artist that broke 500,000 streams. My newsletter had a 78% open rate. Better than some marketing firms. People wanted to hear from me. And I wrote back. Every single message. I built a website, launched voice workshops for trauma survivors, collaborated with sound therapists, and helped design music modules for memory care patients. At Willow Creek, I started a weekly Sing to Remember program. We were onboarding 1,200 seniors a month into our musical memory software. One was featured on the local news. Still, at Thanksgiving dinner, my sister Madison asked, "Teaching old folks to click buttons? Real noble work, Jake laughed. She's always been the free spirit. Free spirit. Not founder. Not creator. Not voice heard. Round the world. But I didn't snap. I just smiled and refilled my water. Because I was already full in ways they couldn't measure. I had messages from strangers. People in recovery centers. Teens on the edge of giving up. They saw me. Heard me. Even if my family never truly would. It was a chilly Friday morning in March. I was grabbing coffee at Joey's Bean House before heading to Willow Creek. I had earbuds in, humming the harmonies for a new track I was working on, when someone tapped my shoulder. A soft voice said, "Sorry, are you the girl who sings still loud in silence?" I turned. It was a woman in her 30s, messy bun, yoga pants, holding a toddler on her hip. Her eyes were glassy, red at the edges. I nodded slowly. "Yeah, that's me." She exhaled like she'd been holding it in for weeks. "My brother played that song for me after I lost my baby." I didn't want to hear anything. Not even music. But that song. It didn't try to cheer me up. It just sat with me. She wiped a tear from her cheek, the toddler playing with her necklace. "He said you had other stuff, spoken word, poems, workshops." "I started reading your newsletters. They helped me get out of bed."
I didn't know what to say.
She wasn't done. "Do you know Elder Connect? That app for helping seniors remember faces through music." My grandpa's memory came back the first time they played a lullaby he used to sing to us as kids. "Your program did that." I blinked. "Wait, you use Elder Connect?" She nodded. "Every day. They keep saying some nonprofit lady built it. Emily something." "That's you?" I nodded again. Slowly. Silently. She just stared at me, like I just pulled off some kind of magic trick. I didn't know," she whispered. "You look so normal." We both laughed. Then she did something that cracked me open. She hugged me. Right there, in the middle of the coffee shop.
"Thank you," she said.
"You don't know how much you've done." I smiled.
Not wide.
Not gloating. Just full. "I didn't do it for thanks," I said. "I just did it because it hurt too much to stay quiet." As she walked away, she turned and added, "I hope your family knows what you've done for the world." I watched her disappear through the door. Coffee forgotten in my hand. Heartbeat louder than anything I'd ever sung. Not because I demanded attention, but because the truth walked in by itself and refused to stay quiet. The clip of that coffee shop encounter, captured unintentionally by someone filming a latte art tutorial, ended up online. Over 1.2 million views in 5 days. Comments flooded in. People stitching it with their own stories. People crying in their cars. A local news station picked it up. Then a podcast. Then, somehow, the Voice reached out. They said, "We saw your story. We heard your song. Come audition." I almost said no. But something in me said,
Go.
Not to win.
To be seen.
Fully. The stage lights were blinding. The crowd?
Silent.
Until I started. I sang the last note I held. Acoustic. No frills. Just breath and memory. Halfway through I spotted her. Brittany Keller. Front row. Mouth slightly open. No camera in her hand this time. No smirk. When I finished, the crowd didn't erupt. Not right away. It was quiet. Then it roared. Judges on their feet. One of them said, "That wasn't just a performance. That was a reckoning." Backstage, Brittany approached. Nervous. Small. "I'm sorry," she said. "I was so cruel. I didn't even know why. Maybe I was jealous. Maybe I just didn't want to admit how powerful you were." I nodded. "You didn't stop me," I said. "You just delayed me." She cried. I didn't. Because I wasn't there for revenge. I was there for reclamation. Later that week, my mom sent me an envelope. No card. No glitter. Just a folded printout. It was a screenshot of the Voice website. My face on it. Circled. At the bottom she had written, "We were wrong. Keep going." I didn't frame it. I didn't show it off. I just kept it tucked inside my journal, next to the lyric sheet for the first song I ever wrote. Madison, my sister, called a month later. Said she wanted help choosing a song for her wedding dance.
Said she wanted my voice to be the one they danced to.
Jake emailed me a Spotify Wrapped screenshot. "You were my top artist this year. Guess you got the last laugh." But it didn't feel like laughter. It felt like breath. Like a pressure lifting. It wasn't pride. It was peace. Not everything needed to be fixed. Some things just needed to be released. If you've ever been laughed at for something you loved, if someone made your voice feel like a mistake, this story was for you. Not because I need you to remember me, but because I need you to remember you. The version of yourself you silenced because someone told you it didn't sound right, or look right, or belong. Let me be clear. You don't need a stage, or lights, or millions of streams. You just need one moment, one act of rebellion that says, "I still believe in me, even when no one claps." Where are you watching this from? Have you ever buried something you loved because someone else called it foolish? Drop your story in the comments. Let someone else see it, because someone out there needs your voice, just like someone once needed mine. Here on this channel, we don't do fake victories. We celebrate quiet triumphs, second chances, songs sung through cracked voices and trembling hands. Thank you for listening, not just to me, but to the version of yourself you maybe forgot about. And I'll keep sharing these stories, because someone, somewhere, is still whispering in the dark. And maybe, just maybe, they're ready to sing again.